So something I didn't really discuss in the preview video was the goaltending matchup and the special teams. Obviously, very important roles into how a game finishes off and the results of that. And somehow didn't make it in the review, the preview. And just gonna discuss that real quick in this video. So I have the stats up here on the computer, and the interesting thing about the Islanders with Greiss and Varlamov is the fact that, first of all, Varlamov has played 14 games during these playoffs, and Greiss has only played 3, which is interesting because when I look at the Islanders, it's kind of a similar type format and how they're structured, like Columbus, where you have Elvis and Korpisalo, where you can kind of mix and match. Trotz, I'm not going to say he doesn't know what he's doing. He obviously does. But when you look at Varlamov with a .921 save percentage in those 14 games, and then Greiss with a .960 save percentage through those 3 games, you'd have to think that Trotz would go towards Greiss for game 1 going forward. We'll see how that goes. But I think you got to give Greiss the chance for this round specifically. Not that Varlamov bad. When you look at a .921 save percentage, obviously that's not bad. That's above average, pretty well. I wouldn't even say above average. I would say that's solid goaltending. But when you're looking at a guy with a .960 save percentage through 3 games, I understand it's a small sample size, but you got to give it to him. See how that goes. And then you got Vasilevsky with a .931 save percentage through 13 games. And if there's one thing that you know about the Lightning, aside from their offense, they heavily rely on Vasilevsky through the regular season and the playoffs. This is no disrespect, obviously, to McElhinney, but when you got a guy like Vasilevsky, it's understandable why he would be the one to go to and consistently throughout the playoffs. He tends to be overshadowed, more so because of the team that he plays on, all the great players on the Lightning. He's going to be an effective role deciding where this series ends up. And that goes both ways. When you look at Varlamov and Greiss and Vasilevsky, it's all dependent on if they continue to play that they have been throughout these playoffs. So that'll be interesting to see. But I think the most interesting thing about this matchup is just how identical the special teams is between these two teams throughout the playoffs. The Lightning have a 17.1 power play percentage, and the Islanders have a 16.9. And the penalty kills, Islanders have an 82.2% penalty kill and an 81.3% penalty kill. You can't make this stuff up. It's just weird. I think at this point, special teams is a wash coming into this. I think when you really look at the teams, it's evenly matched. Defensively, offensively, goaltending, special teams about the same, which makes for an interesting storyline for the series. And I think going forward, both teams are going to have to try and draw penalties, because it seems like neither of these teams get a lot of power play opportunities, or enough, which, if the Lightning are given more power play opportunities, then gives more of a chance for them to get the power play going. And if the Lightning's power play does get going in this series, this could be bad news for the Islanders. You got a lot of star power on the Lightning and have the ability to have a very disgusting power play, and they have during the regular season. It just hasn't shown up in the playoffs, except for one game in the Boston series, which they ended up winning 7-1. But I would consider that more of an outlier than what was shown throughout the playoffs. So we'll see how this narrative continues, to see where the goaltending for both teams go in this series, as well as the special teams, to see whether or not the special teams becomes a significant factor within this series. Heading into it, I believe there really isn't so much of a factor currently. That could obviously change. It's hockey, anything happens. We know this. So we'll see how this goes. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you want more hockey content like this, please consider subscribing, and take care.